Yo, welcome back to We'll Name the Show Later. We're now into season 2. Lola Fax and Shawnee B had to take a little break, but we're so glad that you came back to rock with us. Season 2 is going to be better than ever, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, it's your girl Lola. We are back with We'll Name the Show Later. It's season 2, episode 1. Today we have something special. We have some friends of the show joining us. Shawnee B will be back. Don't fret. But today we have some friends of the show. So friends of the show, introduce yourselves.
Hi everybody, I'm Sheri.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, what it is, what it do. It's your boy, Dat Boy DT. It's your girlfriend's favorite DJ, Hurt Mob CEO Entertainment, Hurt Mob HURT. Hurry up and run that. We'll name the show later. So run on over to the comments, like, subscribe, tap in with your boy. I'm happy to be here, and as the church folks say, I'm glad to be seen and not viewed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sheri, is there anything that you want to say about yourself? You want to introduce yourself? Because Dante gave like...
I know, right? I was like, I need a do-over. My name's Sheri. You can find me at Aspiring Housewife NC on TikTok, and Sheri, not Sheri, SHERI, not CHERI on Instagram and Twitter.
And that's what's up. That's what's up. So we're going to just dive right on in. My girl Sheri, she sent me, is it Twitter still? Is it?
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm going to still call it. Her mama named it Twitter. I'm going to call her Twitter.
Facts. They're calling it X these days.
Yeah. No, it's going to be Twitter.
I don't know.
We're not going to do that. It's going to be Twitter. So right. Sheri sent us a little Twitter thing, and I want to play it for y'all, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. So here we go.
Top of the motherfucking morning. Disclaimer: if you don't like bitterness, if you don't like tit for tat, if you don't like going back and forth, if you don't like getting that lick back, please do not watch this video, because this is petty. Can't even lie. My boy just hit my line about 10 minutes ago and said the mission is complete. So boomskis, let me give you a little backstory. Let me let you know what happened. So boom, the shorties that I meet in person don't know about my TikTok. You feel me? Even if I send somebody a TikTok, it's not gonna say watch and follow. It's just gonna say watch. You can't even save my number and then find me through TikTok contacts. It don't work like that. I turned all of that shit off because I need these women to get to know me before they see TikTok, because they're not gonna fold like a lawn chair then, bro. They're gonna be stiff and stale like a motherfucking light pole. I don't need that. So I'm dealing with this one shorty or whatever the case may be. You feel me? We was vibing for probably 2 months, kicking it. It was decent little vibes. She was never gonna be my girlfriend, but it was decent little vibes. I didn't mind talking to her every day, spending time with her. It was cool as hell. You feel me? So boom, one day she was like, I need to talk to you about something. I'm like, what? She was like, so I didn't really tell none of my friends that I was talking to you, but then I just told one of my friends, and she said she knew you from TikTok, and she told me to look at your page before I continue to deal with you, and she was right. I don't think I could deal with a man like you. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you sure? I'm like, bro, it's been 2 months. We've been kicking it. Like, my TikTok, okay, cool, but you know me, you know? And she was like, that don't matter, though. Both sides are you, and I don't think I'm willing to take the other side. And I'm like, okay, cool. Fuck what you talking about. Your friend did this. Okay, cool. I know which friend you talking about. Let's put this plan in motion. It's time for revenge. What? Now, her friend had a nigga, and I don't want to see all of y'all in my comments after I make this statement, because I don't care about your opinions. But yes, every woman will cheat for the right man. I don't even care. So you know, every man group, every male group of friends got that one cute ass homie. Whenever a group of bitches walk past, they like, oh my God, is he single? They don't even look at the rest of us. They just look at that nigga. It's fucking annoying. But I called him. I said, yo, bro, I need you to slide in this girl on Instagram. She got a nigga, but I feel like you could do it. Like, I need you to slide in her Instagram to let's see how this work. You feel me? So boom, he sent a shorty Insta. She folded on like day 3. She folded. Like, I bet we at the door. I say, watch this work. You feel me? So boom, he talking to a vibe, and they link up, they smoke a couple times. I'm like, let's take it up another notch. He like, what you mean? I say, I'm finna send you these tickets, bro. I'm like, I'm going T-Mobile Tuesday. I'm finna buy these $5 tickets, and I'm finna send them to you so you could take shorty to the movies. Let's take it up a notch. We not going farther. He was like, all right, bet. I don't know when it's going, but bet. I was like, yes, sir, ski, blowski, broski. So we end up taking shorty out. They kicking it, you feel me? She being sneaky as shit, ducking and dodging. Her nigga kicking it with my hands, you feel me? Thinking living the best sneaky link life in her whole motherfucking world. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, bro, just wait until you get to a conversation where she's hinting that you're better than her nigga, and then that's we gonna lay that final play. That's when we gonna lay that final play. When he goes on the stage, you're better than her current nigga. So boom, they were in a heart-to-heart conversation, and she was texting him. He ended up saying, like, I would have met you before I met my man. Oh, typical shit to say. I say, okay, cool, boom. This is what you do. Send my TikTok and be like, yo, you remember when you told your friend fuck with my mans? Yeah, I'm finna tell your boyfriend what the fuck we doing. And that's what he did. So when he called my phone to let me know it was complete, all I was boop, 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 boop. She calling him back, G. She because he sent the screenshots of the shit that been doing to her man. And then texting her and he was like, next time you want to ruin a happy home, remember, house is made of motherfucking pillows. We'll blow that shit down. Now your house is ruined too. Fuck, nigga. Disclaimer, I don't know about what you think. Do not comment in comments complaining with your idiotic, vague, and hopeless opinions. I am the worst of the worst. I'm aware of this. Did I do all of that? Would I do it again? Bye-bye.
First off, I love that we have Hoboken.
Listen, fold like a lawn chair might be fold like a lawn chair might be my favorite.
Bro was wild for that. So DT, tell me your thoughts.
My immediate thought was I may need to get on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I've been swearing off TikTok for the duration. People have tried to get me on, and I had swore it off. But if that's the type of calculated maneuvering that is being shared on said platform, I may have to partake. I just may have to allow myself to divulge in such shenanigans. But I will say this. You got to think for yourself. You know what I mean? Like you gotta think for yourself. And I say that to say, I think both men and women are influenced by their peer group's opinion. And if she thought enough, I think 2 months is a good enough span to know to not, let me say that 2 months is long enough to make an educated analysis of a person, unless they're just putting on a total facade. Keeping up a facade for 2 months takes a lot of work. So if you had made your judgment about this young man as a young lady and then shared it with your friends, clearly she didn't want her home. She must not think too highly of her homegirls if he didn't make the group chat early. Because in my experience, if you have, after a date or so, if you worth even being talked about, you are going straight into the group chat as a guy. Like, hey, I went out with this dude. Does anybody know him? Right? Like, I like to call it checking the whole facts. Does anybody know him? Does he have a family? Is he hiding a wife? Is he who he says he is? Right? So you clearly, I would say, don't think too highly of your friend group, or you don't trust him, or he would have went in the group chat way earlier than 2 months, right? It wasn't like he told her, hey, I'm in WITSEC. You can't be telling people we dating. He just said he doesn't share that he has a TikTok. And so once the friend found the TikTok and shared it, or said that, he knows him from TikTok, 2 months should have been like, okay, well, yeah, that's who he is, but I'm still going to pursue this, or I'm going to have a conversation about you as a person versus who you are online, which we all know are two different people, and then make your own judgment. But it says, like she said, oh, I saw your TikTok and I still think that you're this or that. I also feel like in the 2 months you was talking to him, you have had to have had some sort of instance that this dude was petty. I don't know if anybody's going to show you that they're that petty in 2 months, but yeah, I am a fan from a distance, but I am petty, but I'm not that petty. But I am a fan from a distance. I will go ahead and be honest and upfront and say that.
Sheri?
So, I'm on board with the petty. Like, I appreciate how methodically he went through this plan to vanquish his enemy.
Facts. Facts.
Like, next level shit. Like, yeah, like,
Facts.
kudos to you for that. Where I stop is, you did all of that for one, sir, you're either lying through your teeth. You really like that girl. Or you went crazy on somebody that's not even gonna be your girlfriend. Like you went crazy over the friend of someone who's not your girl. You did all of this. Get back at somebody that you supposedly don't even want a relationship with. Oh, she's never gonna be my girl. That's not gonna be my wife. But you did all of that. Like, sir, one, you're a bad liar. Let's start there. You're a bad liar. And then, the other issue I had was, as much as your online persona may be one thing and your in-person persona may be something else, there are going to be times where that stuff crosses over.
Absolutely.
And if, I'm dating a guy and he seems all well and good, but 2 months down the road, I find out he's the president and CEO of the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Facts.
I might be taken aback. We might be like, I don't know. You're Kevin Samuelite? Yikes.
Oh, we're not, listen, the man has transitioned. Let's not send strays, okay? The man is transitioned.
Well, I'm not going to compare him to Jesus, but Jesus transitioned too, and he still got followers. So.
Where's my bomb button?
Transition still got followers. So Kevin Samuelites, that's how they worship him. In any event, yeah. So I think that, one, dude, you went that far to be that petty. Two, you're lying over whether or not you was really feeling that girl. Because if you weren't feeling her, you OD in real life trying to set somebody up for someone that you're not. Like, it's weird. And then again, like I said, buddy, just I wouldn't want to find out too much down the road that I'm dating the He-Man Woman Hater.
So I don't think 2 months is long enough to really know somebody, because I know people who have gotten married after dating a year and come to find out they have a whole other person that they married. They're like, what happened? You were so ambitious at first. And now all of a sudden you're a whole entire slug. So I think 2 months is not quite enough. And I also believe I have a problem with him not wanting to share his online persona with these women that he is courting, because, I believe wholeheartedly that whatever he's saying, it's probably problematic. It's probably hurtful in some way. It's probably ugly. And it's to the point where if you don't want somebody to see it, maybe you should check what you're actually putting on the interweb, because part of that you may be putting on for somebody else, but that has to come from someplace. So he's actually probably a trash ass person, which is evidenced by the fact that he went so hard in the paint to get back at this broad that he don't know. Like, why and what for? You weren't even getting paid to go through all that. The machinations of your mind to have to go through that. Though he wins the Lifetime Achievement Award for the petty Olympics, whatever.
Yes.
Kudos for that. But clearly he's young in age. Clearly he's young in the mind, because who has the time or the energy? I could be out here making money. I could be taking a nap. I could be doing any number of things besides plotting on somebody else. It's going to come back to him. It's going to come back. Yeah. So poor Pooh.
Poor Boo.
Poor Pooh.
Poor little Tank.
And he still don't got the girl. So it's like,
right.
Exactly. He still don't got the girl. And like Sheri said, clearly he liked this girl more.
You like that girl.
And ain't no way. I mean, who puts that much energy into somebody that they don't like?
I'm just kicking it with.
I'm like, come on, DT, tell me.
And then,
yeah. I think you all are. So here's what I think happened. I think he may have been on his way to liking her, and we don't know. And we're not going to get, we're not going to stretch out on the therapist couch here. But let's say he was on his way to beginning to like her, or making the decision to, okay, I'm going to really court and pursue this young lady, to then have it abruptly come to a halt over something he didn't want to precede him. Right. That is a different, it's almost kind of like when you make yourself available or vulnerable to somebody, and then they do something and you're like, see, this is why I don't do this. You know what I mean? It's not even the reality of the action. It's the fact that you were hesitant or fearful of. It's almost like what can go wrong will go wrong. Right. And it's like, if he was on his way to really liking this young lady and to have that be counteracted by something out of his control, then instead of reflecting and saying, hey, you know what, maybe if like you said, if I have to hide who I am online, then that means you're not proud of it. But like I said, I'm not on TikTok. I'm not going to pretend to have a verbose knowledge of the platform. But one of the reasons I tend to stay away from it is the stuff that makes the other platforms from TikTok always seems to be some sort of extreme to me. Like it's either extreme toxicity, it's either extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? Extremely race baiting type stuff, or it's dances, right? And it's just kind of like, you know, if that is what the platform is producing to make it profitable for people, again, if this is the way that you choose to make a living, that's entirely up to you. But at the same time, if you also aren't proud of the way that you're choosing to make a living, that should say something as well. And like to your point earlier, Lola, about if you have to hide what you do on the platform and share your point, there's going to be some overlap. Maybe you want to reevaluate what you do or lead with it, right? Like, hey, listen, if you lead with it and women still choose to stay, then you don't have to worry about that, right? So it sounds like you're kind of straddling the fence in two conflicting worlds. And so I can't necessarily say he liked her like that, but I can understand if he was on his way to figuring out if he really liked her and to have that abruptly come to a halt, then, you know, we got to deflect and place blame at the feet of someone else other than myself, because you create the content you create. And that's what the young lady said she couldn't date you over. It wasn't, you know, what her homegirl said about you. She went and researched the TikTok herself and said, hey, I have a hard time differentiating the two from each other, and I'm just going to go ahead and say farewell. So.
And I can understand like someone that has a large following not wanting to lead with, I'm a content creator, blah, blah, blah. Because to his point, like he said, he's like, I don't get to know women genuinely when they find out that I essentially have a platform. Now, that piece I can understand. And that piece, you know, I can empathize with, because a lot of times, even people that are big on podcasts and other types of things, once they get out and date, I've heard several of them say, once people find out who I am, it gets weird. So I can understand maybe not leading with, hey, my @ is dunking on bitches 69 at TikTok. Like, like I can understand why you might not want to lead with your name. You know, but to flip that and then take it again as far as he did. And then the other point that I kind of wanted to pivot to was just coming from the side of, again, anti-Kevin Samuelite. It's why does this man who says that he's not into this woman feel entitled to access to her, regardless of what she may come across? And why do men in times in life, just in dating, it kind of feel like that way? Like, I'm with this dude, yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, we're kicking it, I like him, but he's like, I don't know if we want to be in a relationship, I don't know what I'm doing. But the minute you're like, oh yeah, I'm going on a date, I'm about to go do this and this, he starts acting weird.
I want to add to that real quick, Sheri. Yeah. I've talked to gentlemen, and in a weird way, they've said, a couple of them said, hey, even though we've been broken up for years with whoever they've been broken up with, in their heads, that person still belongs to them. And it's like, that's odd, because
what is that about?
They've moved on. That's
what is that about?
DT, yeah, what's it about? Because you're the only man here.
So I will say this. I've seen it both ways.
Okay.
I've seen it both ways. I've seen women, when I've been with my homeboys, we've ran into one of their exes or an ex, and he may have moved on, and she still approaches the situation like, if I wanted you, I could have you. Like, I've even heard women say that to a man in public, like, oh, where's your, and then, you know, women's favorite line is to put little in front of something. Yeah. Or where your little girlfriend at, or where your little wife at. Like, This man is married. What are you talking about? Like, oh, and so I think it is the person, regardless of male or female. I think it's something that person knows about that other person that gives them the idea that they can do that. Mm-hmm. It's something that they experienced in their interaction, in their relationship, that says to them, I got you to do something it's you did something that was out of character, right? Or I had a level of access to you that you didn't give to anybody else. Mm-hmm. That makes them think that they have that continued access. Men are worse at it than men. I mean, men are worse at it than women. I will say that, but I have seen it go both ways, and I won't be delusional to think that, oh, men don't do that, only women do that. No, I definitely agree. So, and from a man standpoint of view, I think for men know when they get women to act out of character and to do stuff that they may not have necessarily wanted or thought against, whatever that is. And it's almost like if a man can get a woman to do that over, or to accept a behavior that she wouldn't otherwise accept from a different person or from other people in her life, but she expects it from him, then it's like, okay, I am at a different tier in this person's life, and that tier grants me a level of access regardless of whatever else is going on in her life.
Mm. So how many friends in your friend group kind of hold that belief that if I mess with a woman one time, they somehow belong to me, like they've been marked for life?
In my immediate friend group, I wouldn't say any in my immediate friend group, but in my approximate or outer circles, I know men who move like that, but not anybody in my immediate friend group. And that's just being honest. But I do know men like that in my peripheral circles, but I don't know men like that in my immediate circle. And in my experience, those men think that they have that type of access because they've been re-granted that access. And that's just as alarming to me as anything else. It's like, I think it's one thing if a man thinks he has that access, but to then pursue it and be granted that access, it's almost like, okay, well, I know I got it. And so I'm not putting that onus on the woman in this instance because I don't know her, but I do know guys that have tried it and been successful. And so if a guy tries it and is successful, then he's being told that he does have that access. But in my immediate circle, I don't have anybody like that. But I do know men in my peripheral circles who have moved like that.
The granting of the access after the fact, I feel like that's more if the woman is allowing that man to come back into her life for whatever reason, that has more to do with feelings, unresolved feelings that, never dissipated. So, but that's different than a man just saying off top, we dealt with each other. We got physical with one another. So you belong to me. I don't care if you're married. I don't care how long it's been. You belong to me from here until the end of time. And where they, I mean, they don't even have to have access to that person again. It's just some mental, I know people like that. Like,
asking,
where did that come from? Like,
so you're asking again. So you're asking just about the ideology, not necessarily the action. Again, so I think the ideology comes from something that happened in that relationship and knowing from a personal account with that person that they did something or did things or allowed things. For example, if a guy, and this is generalizations, right? If a guy is with a woman and she accepts cheating, right? At some point in time, she may eventually say, this is no more for me, right? And they may go their separate ways. But in that dude's mind, because she accepted cheating, he always is more than likely going to have access to her if she accepted it because you accepted it already, right? So what's the difference in his mind? I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just, trying to provide a male point of view. In his mind, what's different if you do have a new dude and cheating with me if you already accepted cheating? right? Or in most guys' minds, it doesn't qualify as something else if we have a history. I can't attempt to explain how that makes sense in guys' mind, but that's the ideology. It's like, well, this don't really count because I was here before that nigga. So you know what I mean? Like, it really don't count because I was here before old boy. So
you know what I appreciate about this conversation, DT, is that you're coming from such a healthy mental space that you can't even understand the level of toxicity that Lola Fax and I are talking about.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah, like you mentally can't go there to where like I'm talking about like super duper fuck nigga level, like supreme.
Oh no, I can't. No, I've never.
Yeah,
you're talking Super Saiyan fuck nigga.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's finite math for your boy.
Yeah,
I passed pre-cal, and that's about it. Yeah, you're talking finite math and coding. Yeah, So no, I can't. I can only give it to you from a ground view. I don't have an aerial view of that because that's not been my experience, nor has that been a first person interaction that I've had. So I can't explain where that thought process and ideology comes from. I can only hypothesize. So yeah.
I do love the fact that you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, lady. So I can't really give you, like, I'm going to try to give you an answer, but I really can't do it.
Yeah, sure. I really can't, because everything you're saying, I'm like, no, this is all healthy. That's normal. That's not what we're talking. Oh wow.
Yeah.
He can't see. It's like I've never seen no shit like that before, and I'm not even going to try to hypothesize because I don't get it.
No, I don't get it. No, I have
me trying to explain levels of anime where I'm like, right. Pokemon? I don't know.
So I have a very surface level understanding of what you're referring to, but I don't have a nuance. Excuse me. Like I don't have. Let me say this. Let me not lie. I have one story, and I just thought it was wild. So, a friend of mine dated this young lady in college. So I heard this story from the wife at a dinner, at a like scholarship foundation dinner, a black tie event, right? So I was at a table with a young lady, and she introduced me to her husband. And he was cool. And then she was like, oh, do you know such and such? And this is another guy that I know. We're going to get around to it at some point. I'm the nukes. This will make a lot more sense. I'm a Kappa. So she asked me if I knew one of the brothers from my chapter. And I was like, yeah, I know him. He's older. And she was like, oh, my husband invited him to his bachelor party. And she thought it was weird. And she was like, why would my husband invite him to his bachelor party? I was like, I don't know. You have to ask your husband. But my frat brother, he's a wild boy. He's probably a little bit like y'all are talking about with this like ideology that he has access. As the story goes, my frat brother told the dude at his bachelor party, like, man, I'm a little upset that you're about to marry her because I wasn't done with her yet. And so that blew me. And so if that's the type of level of like, if that's what you're on, and she told me the story at the table, and I was secondhand embarrassed, but I also know this dude. I don't know him enough to know. I don't know him enough to think that he would say that. But you also know, like, oh, I can see him saying that. But if you told me he said that, I'd have to be like, oh, he wild for that. So that's probably, if that's the level of type of shit you on. And when I heard the story, I was embarrassed for myself to have to say, oh yeah, I know that dude. But not that he was embarrassed. And apparently, according to the husband, he took it in stride and didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, if that's the type of shit y'all talking about, I don't have no experience with that shit.
Yeah. The audacity.
Yeah. Listen.
I mean, he's lucky he didn't get his teeth like lodged in his throat somewhere.
I'm shocked that they're still in his mouth. Period.
His chest is not caved in somewhere. Like,
right?
My God,
I wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
But if that's the level of type of stuff you on, then I can't. Yeah, then that's above my pay grade. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm petty. I'm petty to a level that I can afford, and that's above my pay grade. So
yeah, and this story is like, not only is it that it's brazenly next level.
Yeah,
but But that sort of mentality, that type of energy in the scenario, and that makes sense. Where
I think,
I don't even. What? And he's like, legend has it. I heard.
Listen, it was
407 years ago.
The wildest part about it is that she told me the story. So apparently, he told her. So apparently the husband told her the story, right? Like, hey, I invited your ex to my bachelor party. And, I think it starts with the brazenness of accepting the invite. Like,
see, hold on.
Why did you? Why did you?
There's another petty at play here.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the part of the husband.
Absolutely. And inviting him. Absolutely. So the thing is, and then if I accept the invite, because then it's chess, right? You invite me.
Correct.
If I don't accept, then it makes it as if I'm either still pressed up for her, or I got some kind of feelings, or I'm not over her, so I can't come and have a good time, right? So the first chess play is the invite, right? The second chess play is the actually coming, right? Then you have the back and forth of the interaction at the bachelor party. I wasn't there. Like I said, I don't know. And then it's okay. Well, now that I'm here and I've shown you that I'm not intimidated by your invite, let me also double down and let you know I'm not intimidated by you as a man, and share this about the woman that I used to date that you're about to call your wife.
That's what I like about messy men's business.
So,
okay, this is messy. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta level.
Hey, man, listen.
Season 6
when I heard the story, I was like, that nigga wild.
Inject this into my veins. I want to know more.
I was like, hey, they was like, oh yeah, your profile, he did this. I say, yeah, I can see that. That nigga wild boy. Yeah, he's a wild boy.
Incredible.
Sheri, how we say, the whole words mean things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not done. Well, what did he say?
I wasn't done with her yet.
I wasn't done with her yet. That connotes that there might be still something going on. It just, that little level of doubt, like, yet, nigga, what?
Yeah.
Yet? Like, is there...
In that, yes. Yet. In that, I mean, if I called, I've been chilling.
Yeah.
But if I were to beckon,
right,
she may come back.
I mean,
but
you heard,
still,
but yeah,
it almost sounds like there might. I'm not done with her yet. I'm still messing with her.
It could be that. It
sounds a little bit like that. It could
be as nefarious as that, with him trying to really cause problems.
Yeah. Ooh. So this story was told to me years ago. And I think at the time that I received the story, I feel like they had been married for a few years.
Okay.
So listen, but like, again, I just provide that as like a gauge. If that's what you all are, if that level of audacity and niggatry is what you all are referring to when you ask, why do men think like that? That's probably the extent of my understanding of that.
Impressed.
Wow. Okay. Well, staying on the same vein of toxic Negroes, and this topic has come and gone. It's been beat. Like the horse has been beat. The Keke Palmer thing.
Sure.
And I know it's been talked about ad nauseum. However, I feel like it kind of goes along with this topic. That insecure dudes and toxic dudes. It's a nasty, nasty mix. It's like a toxic waste dump of feelings that some of these men have. And you have a wife that glowed up, or not even a wife, a girlfriend that glowed up, and she's out here living her life. And then instead of just going to her and saying things, you instead decide to tell the whole world. Like, that's the part.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Venn diagram of toxic men and insecure men is damn near a circle.
I mean, they overlap.
They overlap so much. It's almost the straight up circle.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah. No.
My daughter just broke up with her little boyfriend.
See.
Well, I mean,
Come on, spill Lola Junior's tea.
Listen, you want to get on his head, put that little in front of there.
Well, yeah, she was definitely an upgrade to his life, and that's on
want to get on
fact.
his head, put that little in front of there.
Woo.
Well,
Oh,
first off, I was
man.
mad because I'm going to meet you and I'm walking into a room. Where's your hand? Why aren't you shaking my hand? Why aren't you standing up to meet me? I'm a little old school. I'm not old, but I'm a little old school. So I would have expected, a better kind of first impression, like, hey, I'm so and so, shake your hand, whoop, whoop, whoop. I didn't get that. So, I told him, being me, I told him about himself before I left the room. But she ended up breaking up with him because he was insecure because she's a hottie patati. She knows she's a hottie patati, and dudes stay in her face. Mm-hmm. And she, but she's very humble about it. She's not like, oh, she's not like outwardly like, yes, I'm that bitch. She's just like, okay, yeah, I'm comfortable with myself, and boom, and she exudes it, so it brings people to her. Mm-hmm. So he just is like, basically was like, yeah, I know guys look at you and I don't really like it. And I said, oh, honey, run for the hills, because that's going to turn into, you can't wear that. That's going to turn into, you can't hang around these certain people. And it's going to suck the life out of you. And you don't have that much dating experience. He wanted to lock her down. When I say lock her down, I mean, like, let's just get married. She's like, hold up, wait, pause, pump your brakes, partner. Like, she was like, I want to flirt. I want to date. It's just like, that's not part of my life plan right now. Like, I'm about to head off to the Navy. So I'm sorry, baby. That's just not what it's going to do. And she felt bad about it. Like that, because he had bought her flowers or something. Like, girl, first off, they from the grocery store. Calm down. But flowers are the bare minimum. But you should not feel bad about letting loose somebody who is not adding and pouring into you. He would talk down to her because he's insecure. He would say condescending things to her, which would, have her second guessing some of these things. It's like toxic male, insecure male. So some insecure men will do everything in their power to keep you. I mean, they would just love bomb you, give you everything. And then you have the other ones who are so insecure that they will try to stifle you. They will try to make you smaller. And I just am so happy that she was like, oh no, I'm not about this lifestyle. 2 months in, she was like, and it's only 2 months in, and he's showing these things. I'm like, see, oh gosh, it's gonna do nothing but get worse after. Oh goodness.
That sounds like Seth Rogen. About a week or so, maybe after the Keke Palmer fiasco, he got outed by an ex for being super toxic on Instagram, mad about things that she was posting. Mind you, he got with her after sliding in her DMs because he saw a couple of the pictures that she posted. She's a surfer.
Mm-hmm. And that's Seth Rogen. That's the other one. Jonah
Hill. I said Seth Rogen. My bad, Seth Rogen. I get my white dudes mixed up. Him, Jonah Hill, where where he basically said that he's telling her, he's like, oh no, you need to take down these pictures. It makes me really uncomfortable when you're on your surfboard on Instagram in bikinis, and she's like, I'm a surfer, like that's right. It's my job. So like, well, maybe, yeah, go ahead.
No, please finish your sentence.
No, you go ahead.
So I saw the same thing, and I will say that I agree. If this is what she was doing when you met her, if this is something you don't want her to do, then if you want to be taken seriously, then you have to present an alternative option. Exactly. Right? Like, hey, listen, I would really like to pursue you long term. I see this going the distance. I would like you to be my wife. I understand that you're passionate about surfing and that requires you to do X, Y, and Z. Is there another field that you're passionate about that I can help you, or maybe we can transition you to? Because this is, if who she is as a person, her outward image conflicts with what you have of the woman you're with and your wife, you can give her the choice to change, right? Now, the ultimatum is where I kind of don't get with, right? Like, don't do this because I don't like it, when that's what drew you to her. But if you say, hey, listen, is surfing something you plan to do for the rest of your life? Like, is there something else? Is there another passion that you have that doesn't do this? And then you share that's how you feel, and then she is allowed to make a choice. What I don't appreciate is when she shared those, she had just got married, right? She had moved on. And after the Kiki thing, you're dropping these screenshots. You have a husband. You know what I mean? And some might say, well, maybe that was something that he saw about you as a person that also he didn't like. You know what I mean? And so if you had already, you broke up with this man, we didn't hear nothing about it. You not only moved on, you now have a husband, and you want to bring something that happened with your ex into the limelight. Now, we don't know who your husband is, but if he's on the same caliber of Jonah Hill, you've won, right? Like if he's in a financial status of where Jonah Hill is, you've won. But what if he isn't? What if he's already navigating? Oh, did we lose her? Oh.
No, I'm sorry. I'm messing around.
What if he's already navigating not being enough compared to your ex on a financial status, right? You know what I mean? Now he's got to because you know the internet, as soon as they found out she was married, you know who was now getting their DMs blown up about how they feel about it. It's her husband. But Sheri, to your point, again, I don't, excuse me, and I had this conversation. I don't agree with, I do understand him, and we don't know, you can't take context from text messages. I can understand him sharing that, but again, if you aren't also in a space to provide an alternative, like if she's a surfer and that's a lucrative profession for her and that's what drew you to her, it's unrealistic. Like Lola knows I have a day job, but I also DJ, right? Mm-hmm. If my significant other is like, I don't like you out every Friday night DJing, well, what's our alternative?
Right.
Like I was DJing when you met me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now I could not take as many gigs if we have plans. Like I could, scale back here and there, but I'm not going to stop DJing every week because you want to, Netflix and chill when this is a very lucrative side hustle. Right. But there is some compromise. Like instead of maybe DJing every Friday and Saturday, maybe I'm every Friday, but I'm every other Saturday. Right. But that's a conversation that can't be presented to me as I don't want you DJing anymore, because I'm innately going to be like, well, nah, then you can just go ahead and keep it pushing. So I definitely see your point of view. I just didn't like that it came on the heels of that and you've moved on and gotten married. And it's a lot to try to find nuance in text messages because we don't know what the conversations were in between those text messages before or after.
I'm not willing to give Jonah Hill that much grace. I'm not. If and it'd be one thing maybe if the request was reasonable. Mm-hmm. Right? If it's like, you know what, babe, maybe you shouldn't start an OnlyFans selling feet pics and things like that during our relationship. Mm-hmm. Maybe you shouldn't start a career in sex work while we're in a relationship. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't surf. Don't post pictures of you in a bikini. Mm-hmm. Like, the request is not reasonable. To say that outside of ultimately insecurity, because what is your concern? Mm-hmm. What are you worried about? This picture of me in my bikini, what's the problem? Again, it's a part of my profession. What's the issue? What bothers you about that?
Well, go ahead, Lola. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I heard, I don't know who was saying it, but you got to look at Jonah Hill. Look at Jonah Hill. And then you compare him to who he snagged. And he is a realistic man. And when you're realistic and you know very much who you are, you understand that it's probably the money that got her attention, or your
Sure.
name that got the
Sure.
attention.
Absolutely.
But that's only going to go so far. Plus, of course, again, the guys are watching. Um, I it's I feel bad for him on that part. He did have some. There was some things else that he put out. I was like, okay, that's not unreasonable. He's setting his boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and I respect him for doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
he also has to know within himself, like, hey, if you get these women, no one wants to be with a man who is conveying um, weakness. And all that insecurity does is just convey weakness. And then you're the one thing you are concerned about, you have that self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep showing this weakness, you keep showing this insecurity. You're always concerned that your woman is going to find somebody else. Lo and behold, she finds somebody else because you keep showing her behavior that she doesn't really like. And I'm not saying that she would have went out to cheat, but hey, now somebody else has caught her eye, and she's now more willing to let you go than what she would have been had you just kind of been chill and then acted like a normal person.
Right. So let me pose this question to both of you. She was a surfer, and I'm sure the bikini pics are probably swimsuit sponsorships, brand deals, or something, right? What if, being the resourceful person he is, Jonah Hill says, hey, I know that you have a brand deal with what's Billboard, I think is one of the Billabong is one of like the surf companies, right? Your brand deal is going to pay you this. My agent is also the agent for somebody over at Powerade, right? I can get you a comparable brand deal that'll probably make more, and you won't have to be posting in bikinis. How does that sound? And she says, well, no, I don't want that. I still want to post in bikinis. What then?
She's very happy with her body. She said, "Got it. I got it. I'm going to flaunt it." And then I don't know her train of thought, but my
Mhm.
thought is, I can't rest on you to find me brand deals.
No, I'm
What
saying
happened for me?
if
But
he
he
offered her,
found it. He
right,
offered it. He got it for her. But here's the
right.
problem. Like, once they break up, is that offer going to be off the table? And 'cause I have friends who have that's happened to them, where they
Mhm.
had opportunities presented to them, but once they stopped dealing with somebody, that dude trashed her behind her back, and then
Mhm.
she lost on a lot of deals because
Mhm.
this dude came back, pulled a whole moist bitch ass move and was like, "Oh, don't
Mhm.
work with her," just because she said no to him.
Mhm.
So I can understand her saying, you know what? I want to get it on my own so that I know it's me and not you. But with her just saying, I just want to be out here naked, that I mean, I've never been that person, so I don't know what that whole mindset is.
Right.
I put clothes on when I go outside,
Mhm.
but maybe the girls out there who just want to be naked. She like being
Mhm.
naked, but that's the person you met when you first met her. She's been
Right.
this person, so why are you trying to change her name?
I would say this. I can respect him saying that this was something he didn't like. She's saying, I'm not changing, and they go in their separate ways. Like at the end of the day, I think you can analyze the request. Everybody, because the thing is, like, I'm in a relationship. And so before I got in a relationship, when I was still DJing, I was supporting events much more frequently than I do now. Right. The converse to that would be for me if I would have told my girlfriend, she was like, hey, do you have to be at all of these events? And for me to be like, well, I was going to these events when you met me. I'm going to keep going out every weekend. And if you don't want to be here, you shouldn't be here. And it's like, well, if I wanted to be with her and this is something that's a compromise, excuse me, I'm not looked at as less than for saying, okay, I'm not going to be out every weekend because I would like to make sure I'm more conscious with my time with my girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't think that him saying, hey, I don't like this about you. And that's why I said, if that was her livelihood, if he's saying, hey, I see this going the distance and being a long-term relationship, not only am I expressing to you that I don't like this, but I'm willing to utilize my resources to provide a source of income that's going to counteract you stopping to do this, then that's where I'm like, if he presented an alternative and was saying to her, I plan to make you my wife, I don't think it's the same as don't do this, I don't like it, and I don't think it's the same tier, and that's what we don't know from the text messages, and that's my point of view. If he was making this request and also saying, I look to be with you long term, look to make you a wife, if they wanted to have children, to make you a mom, and I'm also going to provide a source of income that can counteract this thing that I don't like from the woman I plan to see my wife, I don't see a problem with it. But we don't know that. All we know is that it looks like he's punching above his weight, as they say, from the aesthetic standpoint. Cool, right? When you got bread, you can do that. It is what it is. Because a lot of people will say, well, if Jonah Hill wasn't Jonah Hill, he wouldn't have had a chance in the first place. Very true, but he is Jonah Hill, so it is what it is. But we don't know from just the context of the text messages if that was a conversation offline. Like, hey, I don't like this, and here are some things that I'm willing to help as a resource to counteract that source of income that you have. And it's not, let me give you a job to not do that. And if he was just saying, don't do that, I may be able to hook you up with somebody else. But if he's saying, I'm looking to make you my wife, and this is something I don't see my future wife doing, and by the way, here's a source of income that you could still feel that you can work, then I don't see the problem. But we don't know that from the context of the text messages. But I'm with you. If it was just about being a girlfriend and make these changes and not on the back end showing her that he was willing to make a long-term commitment to her, then yeah, you don't really have the place to say don't make a living.
This is very idealistic. It's very idealistic, and
sure.
It's in a vacuum.
Absolutely.
And where I'm going to challenge is,
thank you very much for tuning in and rocking with Dat Boy DT, Sheri, and Lola. Part 1 was a blast. Part 2 is going to be even better. So tune in next week. Have a great week. Deuces.